This is Manin Rabu from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Vatukola. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Golavinaka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Grove Resort, and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Lotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, calls made for full and equal participation of females in climate change issues. Fijian peacekeepers to remain with the multinational and observer force. And later in sports, we talk to Flying Fijians coach John McKee ahead of the Tonga Test. The Women's Weather Watch campaign has called for full and equal participation of females, particularly in local governance structures. This comes after they provided their report to the Rural and Maritime Development Minister Ines Seruratu today. Ali Kimpia has the details.
This report will assist various communities to recognize women and help them to be equal partners in designing strategies and agreements on climate change and natural disasters.
If you are a women leader, take your issues. Although you are not the advisory councillor, although you are not the Turani Koro or the maternity kina, but you have a right to take those development issues, those concerns, particularly basics.
Some of the highlights of the report include the empowerment of women to build resilient communities.
Women are marginalized when it comes to the leadership and meaningful participation, and are consistently excluded from decision-making processes in humanitarian response.
For some of the consultation participants, the main focus is for women to be recognized and heard at all levels.
We need to amplify that the voices and support of their leadership role of every woman who are the forefront of this response.
And for these women who are part of this consultation, they are strong leaders. They are capable leaders now. Along with the Turani Koros and the advisory councillors, they are the voice of their communities.
These consultations will identify common challenges and obstacles facing local women, as this will also enable them to discuss solutions to overcome the issue. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Police are trying to identify the body discovered at the Fiji Sugar Corporation compound opposite Marine Drive in Lautoka early this morning. The body has burned to an extent which is beyond recognition, and there is no confirmation at this stage whether the body belongs to a male or a female. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says they are also arranging for a pathologist to carry out a post-mortem on the deceased. The discovery was made by a team of officers on patrol at about 2:45 a.m. Despite the volatility and security concerns in Sinai, Fijian peacekeepers will remain attached to the multinational and observer force. Director Peace Support Operations Commander Humphrey Tawake says this comes as the 210 remaining soldiers in northern Sinai are expected to decrease in numbers over the next 6 months. Maggie Boyle reports.
Withdrawing all of Fiji's troops in Sinai is not an option.
Our commitment to international peacekeeping has always been there. That is a government commitment. That is the commitment of the people of Fiji and the RMF as an institution. And we have our own legacy in the MFO as well. We've been there for 35 years. And we do not want to leave. If we are required to remain in the mission, we will stay in MFO.
Commander Tawake says despite the partial withdrawal over the weekend, Fiji troops will remain on the ground.
Now that they reduce not only our numbers, but the Americans as well, the Colombians, some of the other TCCs that contribute to MFO, probably when through time in the next couple of weeks or months, probably they'll come up with a firm number of what will be required in the mission area.
Speaking to FBC News, the commander of the RFMF, Rear Admiral Viliame Napoto, says that they've indicated their preference to the MFO, that for the Fijian contingent to remain in Sinai, there must be no less than 150 soldiers. Anything less than this, he says, they would seriously consider an all-out withdrawal. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Yangona farmers in Vanua Levu are urging government to consider having a set price for kava throughout the country. This was part of a submission made to the Standing Committee on Natural Resources in Lambasa today. Eleanor Tarangaivu with this report.
Yangona farmers in the interior of Madhuwata and the Kaunrobe are urging government to look into their plight so they can also benefit from the high price of Yangona sold by middlemen.
Yangona should be bought directly from us farmers. For example, I get my coconuts and I take it to the self-serve mill. No one else touches those coconuts. So whatever price the government gives, that amount is mine alone.
Because the kava price is very high, mostly I think it is not affected by the agriculture or that, because most of the stall vendors are 3 or 4 person to sell the grog. If grog bill goes, we need to pay something to the government. Right? Either you give us a license for that, for us to sell or buy. The buyers should have a license for that. The sellers should have a license for that.
The submissions were done during the public hearings on the Kava Bill, the Fiji Meteorological and Hydrological Services Bill, and the Land and Water Resources Management Bill in Lambasa this morning. The Kava Bill attracted the most attention.
Here, almost 99% people are the kava drinkers. So I would like to know that what the benefit we're going to get it out of the government with this bill.
The objective of the bill, we establish a council that oversees the administration and management of kava business in Fiji. At the moment, we don't have any council.
The Fiji Meteorological and Hydrological Services Bill provides for the establishment and functions of the Fiji Meteorological and Hydrological Services, while the Land and Water Resources Management Bill makes provisions for the management, conservation and improvement of land and water resources and for related matters. Views on the bills are to be lodged with the committee no later than next week Friday. Eleanor Turangaibu, FBC News.
Fiji Electricity Authority workers will now start going into the interiors, mostly in the settlement and villages, to work on structures that have been damaged during Tropical Cyclone Winston. About 9,000 homes in Fiji are yet to have their power supply restored 3 months after the cyclone. The Fiji Electricity Board Chair Nizam Uddin says the last 10% is the hardest part and they are working on completing the work.
It's not just the distribution network. The distribution network is what requires power to be taken to homes and factories. We also got transmission. These are those big steel towers that you know. You've seen them. That also is damaged. We put in some temporary structures to put them up.
Coming up on FBC News, new boat to help Yasawa Islanders. And 7 queens vie for Nasinu Carnival crown. Stay with us.
FM rocks. My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Wulamila. I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Travelling for 5 to 7 hours to the north of the Yasawa Group by boat will now be a thing of the past. This follows the introduction of a high-speed catamaran that can cut the travel time by at least 2 hours. Madhum Bolaitamana with this report.
The Tavewa Sea Bus is a 46-seater high-speed catamaran built by a local company based out of Navua. This new inclusion to the Yalondu shipping services fleet comes as a welcome relief to the many that frequent the northern Yasawas, as it will now take them only 3 hours to get to their destination.
Thinking about the past of how Yasawa North get to the mainland, back and forth, was really hard. And I'm glad that we've come up with something that it's gonna cut the time and of course affordable for locals and tourists.
Some 18 years ago, it would take seafarers 12 hours to travel from Essaouira and Nadula Islands to Viti Levu. Bruce says this could not have happened for him if it was not for the support of government.
My first boat that I used took me 12 hours to get to mainland. Yes. And looking back those days, that was not long ago, that was about 1990. And until now, we've seen a lot of changes in Fiji, and I'm really happy with the government support.
The Tavewa Sea Bus will make one return trip to Nadula Island daily. This will assist the two other cargo and passenger ships that service the same route in the Yalondu Shipping Services. Matthew Tamana, FBC News.
The Nasinu Town Council for the first time is hosting its own carnival. The Vodafone Millennium Sinu Festival kicks off this Saturday at the Vale Levu grounds. Major sponsors Vodafone sealed the deal this morning with the festival board. 7 queens are vying for the Miss Sinu crown. The objective of the festival is to raise funds and support the Prime Minister's National Disaster Relief and Rehabilitation Fund towards the victims of Cyclone Winston and the beautification of Nasinu town. The theme for the festival is Let's Unite to Beautify Nasinu.
Definitely Vodafone wanted to come on board, and this year we have also increased our sponsorship to ensure that we have a very successful Nasinu Carnival. Nasinu is a very big area. A lot of people live in Nasinu. Even I live in Nasinu as well. So we need to ensure that we have a big carnival, and we ensure that a lot of people will come in and take part in the carnival.
To celebrate World Oceans Day, staff from the U.S. Embassy and BSP came together to clean up the My Super Park shoreline this afternoon. The United Nations annually sets aside June 8th as World Oceans Day, with the theme Healthy Oceans, Healthy Planet. Ellen Stahls tells us more.
BSP Country Manager Kevin McCarthy says the annual event helps to raise awareness on just how serious the issue of littering is and how harmful it can be for our oceans.
It's really important that we do try and focus on not throwing our rubbish in the water.
Families, friends and helpers got together for a couple of hours to clear the ocean of rubbish littered across the foreshore.
A lot of the things that we're going to be picking up off the beaches really don't have to be here. They don't have to be a problem if we can improve the way that we manage waste at the front end, and if we can increase our recycling capacities.
This year, the United Nations focused on the theme plastic pollution, which is a serious threat because it degrades very slowly, polluting waterways for a very long time. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says, and I quote, "Urgent action is needed on a global scale to be able to alleviate the various pressures put on our oceans and to be able to protect them from future dangers that would tip them beyond the scale of their carrying capacity." Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
Members of the Fiji Police Force today accorded a full traditional welcome and dedication ceremony to the new Commissioner of Police, Brigadier General Sitiveni Ngilio. Brigadier Ngilio's father, Api Meleki Ngilio, was also part of the ceremony. Sainiani Boiler reports.
The new police commissioner says he's looking forward to his new job.
Yes, I've got a 5-year contract, and after 28 years in the military, this is something new and something I'm passionate about. It's very rewarding. At the end of the day, when you finish a day's work, you go home, you know you've done something for Fiji. And even at the night, during the middle of the night or the early hours of the morning, they'll call you, and you know you're doing it for Fiji.
During the celebration today, Brigadier Ngilio's father, Apimeleki Ngilio, said parents should let their children follow their dreams.
Yeah, I'd just like to encourage all the parents, to keep up providing and support and empower the children so that they follow exactly what they want in accordance to the call of God to themselves, rather than just enforcing, what the parents want for the children to become.
Police Commissioner Ngilio says there are plans in place to improve services over the next 5 years. Ministers, High Commissioners and police officers from around Fiji were part of today's celebration. Ngilio adds today is a new beginning for the Fiji Police Force. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Sports is up next. Here's Jamie now with what's coming up in sports.
Exactly, and good evening in sports tonight. Flying Fijians countdown to Tonga Test. And preparations for Vodafone Fiji Fact picks up. This and more coming up.
आपको खरगंगा के रंजिला का नमस्कार। रेडियो फिजी की सुंदर सुंदर यादों का खजाना एकदम बचपन के दिन याद करा देते हैं।
हमारा नाम जोनी नायडू है, हम रहता है मलोलो में और हम टैक्सी ड्राइवर है। हम सब टाइम अपन टैक्सी में रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता प्रोग्राम।
हम सिंगाटोका के हैं, हमारा नाम है रोजी। हम लोग यहाँ पे रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता है।
राम राम, मैं रेमस प्रसाद बोलता हूँ, तब बताऊँ मैं कोई रहता हूँ। मैं जब भी सुना रेडियो फिजी 2 ही सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Well, the ultimate target for the Flying Fijians will, of course, to come out victors at the end of the Pacific Nations Cup. Coach John McKee has warned his team to take it one game at a time, beginning with the expected tough opener against Tonga. Vashnil Prasad has more.
5, 6,
2 days before the Pacific Nations Cup, Flying Fijians coach John McKee has warned the defending champions of the tournament. He says first match will set the platform of their campaign.
With Tonga, you know, that's emphasised to the players today, you know, don't get too carried away and think about Samoa, or, you know, let's really concentrate on this test match against Tonga first and make sure that we really get our game right and really get our execution right and look to win that.
Backline coach Andre Bell is working around the clock to fit in players in 2 certain positions.
The key thing for us is just understanding, you know, how we're going to play the game, and you know, all of our players that come from all over the world, and the most challenging thing for us as coaches is to try and bind them all together and get them to buy into the way we play.
There could be some positional changes in the team, and Bell wants all players to be ready for the challenge.
Rugby is a pretty simple game if you do the fundamentals right, and what we're going to be trying to, or what we are reinforcing, is catching and passing, decision making, and certain patterns of play that can help us play an expensive game.
With outstanding performance 7 months ago at the World Cup, nothing than a win will surface in this opener. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Laced with a number of stars who play top-level rugby around the world, the Flying Fijians are well aware that they'll run onto a level playing field on game day. And with the matchday squad yet to be named, some of these stars are preparing for the toughest scenarios, while young newcomer Filimoni Savo is also hoping for the best. Vashnil Prasad again.
All teams taking part in the Pacific Nations Cup this year have the same target, that is a place in the 2019 World Cup, and it's not different for the Flying Fijians.
They look like they have a really strong side, and you know, the Tongans big fellas. Yeah, we're looking forward to playing them.
With the mixture of young and experienced players in the team, Ben Volavola is ready to play in different positions.
I just got to get myself settled in both positions just in case. Just be ready for both scenarios. So.
While Volavola and Patrick Osborne will easily make a cut into the starting lineup, 19-year-old Filimoni Savo is just thankful of being named in the extended team.
I'm not losing hope at all, because my dad said to me, just keep on striving for the best, and yeah, that's what I did for this past 2 days training, and just do my best, and yeah, hopefully it'll turn out well.
The final 23-member squad to face Tonga will be named tomorrow. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Now with more from the national team, Vashnil joins us live from the Grand Pacific Hotel in Suva and is joined by Coach John McKee. Vashnil.
Yes, Jamie, the Flying Fijians team had a training-free day today and went through a one-on-one session with the Vodafone head coach, Flying Fijians head coach John McKee and his coaching panel. And to explain what happened in the day, during the day, probably is here with me is Coach John McKee. Mr. McKee, how was the one-on-one session with the players today?
Yeah, today a very important day for us, and it's good for the coaches to get one-on-one with the players. We identify, you know, their strengths, but also the things they must work on. And also, we get a good understanding of where they're at physically. So, you know, we make sure that they're ready for the game on Saturday.
Who all have impressed you so far in the training, probably?
Oh, look, it's good to see that, you know, this week to see some experienced players back, you know, like Leone Nakawara and coming back in, you know, these guys really add to the team. You know, Patrick Osborne joining the team this week, you know, a new player, but, you know, he's very much looking forward to representing Fiji, and, you know, bringing that experience from the Highlanders is been great for the team, and especially for the young players.
Our scrum has moved a level up after the World Cup. Probably a lot of expectations from the fans and from the people all around will be on the scrum. How the players have been shaping in that particular area?
Look, we had a very good session yesterday on scrummaging, and we'll do so again tomorrow. But you know, our form last year to 2015 very good. But you know, the challenge is to be better this year. So Alan Muir is working with the boys very hard there, and you know, we really need to challenge ourselves to be better this year.
You got a bit of new players in the scrum area with Manasa Solo out, probably who all are stepping up for his role.
Oh, look, you know, we've got Campo back there, very important for us last year, with ably backed up by Penny Ravai. And on the tight head side, you know, both Leroy Atalifo and Taniela Koroi have just spent a season in Italy, and you know, I think that's really paid off for them. What I've seen of them in training, I think their scrumming's really improved. 23 to be named today. What do we expect? Exciting lineup? Oh, look, I think you'll see the core of our team from last year there, but yeah, a few new players in the group as well. So you know, I'm really excited to see the boys really finally get our team named tomorrow and prepare for the game on Saturday.
There you go, a very exciting, young and experienced mix of team. 23-member squad will be named tomorrow to face Tonga at 2 p.m. here at the Grand Pacific Hotel, Jamie.
Thank you for that, Vashnil. Well, districts have one more day to register their 30-member squads for the Vodafone Fiji Fact. The Fiji Football Association is working overtime in Lambasa to have everything set and ready for the start of the tournament. Vashnil Prasad reports.
Deep on in, then across, and it comes again from one.
The countdown for the Fiji Fact has begun, and Fiji FA believes everything is taking shape well.
Quite up to date with that. We are now waiting for the registration to close in 2 days' time, and once the registration closes, then we will start on the player card and everything else.
Kumar says the renovation works at the venue at Subrail Park in Lambasa is progressing well.
Our two vice presidents, Edwin Chan and Girija Prasad in Lambasa, are working very closely with Lambasa Town Council and trying to get things done. Town Council is working on the ground. They have extended the ground size.
With football resuming after a month's break, Fiji FA Technical Director Ravinesh Kumar has urged team to display a structured game.
Teams, I would urge them to prepare well in terms of structured football. Coaches and players, team officials need to work on the style of football plus the system of play which they will adapt during the games, and I would urge and I would love to see more structured football during the competition.
The expectations from the fans in the north is high as they get to witness top-class local action after a lapse of number of years. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
And tickets for the Fiji Fact go on sale from Saturday. The Oceania Tennis Championship entered its second last day with players from Australia dominating games. Fiji's Annie Shannon lost to Australian number 1 Helen Parsons by 2 sets in the women's singles semi-final this morning. Fiji has also qualified for the semi-finals in the men's and women's doubles.
We've got down to the semi-finals this morning, where we had 2 New Caledonia players in the men playing off in the semi-final, and an Australian and a Fiji player playing off, and the Australian plays the New Caledonia player in the final tomorrow morning. And in the women's we had 2 Australian players win through into the final, and a Fiji girl will be playing off in the bronze medal position for tomorrow.
That was sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
With the massive Suvan sale underway, Consumer Council of Fiji is advising consumers to be cautious when buying goods during the sale. The Council's advice comes in light of some consumers expressing concern over the quality of goods being sold at the sale, some of which are faulty, outdated or damaged. Kelly Vadala has the details.
With a range of goods on sale, consumers must think smart and act prudently.
We notice that most of these items that are being sold is of pretty low quality. Some of these items appears as if the idea to have Suva on sale is to discard the old stock. Well, that's fine. Even if the items are on sale, traders must issue a receipt and they should keep a receipt.
Fiji Retailers Association Secretary Salva Reddy says consumers should be careful with the items they want to purchase and traders are to provide quality items for sale.
It's the consumer's money, they have the bargaining power and they are literate enough to look at the things that they buy. Genuinely our retailers are selling good stuff and we also urge the public to look at the items, find that it is a fair deal on the market and then do the buying.
Business owners say people have been turning up in numbers and are satisfied with their offering during the sale.
The business is going very well. In our transport stand, plenty customers coming in.
For some consumers, the sale is an advantage to purchase goods that were not affordable previously.
Prices for a few items have really dropped, but others are still on the same sale prices. But I enjoy coming this week and it's been my third day here.
The prices over here on the Suva sale are quite good. It's reasonable.
Consumers are encouraged by the Consumer of Fiji to make most of the Suva on sale specials and discount, but also to proceed with caution when purchasing their item. Kelly Vavala, FBC News.
It was another bright and sunny day with a few clouds in a clear blue sky. Temperatures got a little warm in Lambasa, hitting 33 degrees, while Nadi and Lautoka were in low 30s, whereas the other major centres were comfortable in the high 20s. Tomorrow mostly fine apart from early morning showers about the interior of Viti Levu, and looking ahead to Friday, the warm conditions will continue with hazy skies. At sea, northeast winds gusting up to 25 knots, rough to very rough seas. Recapping the main stories from tonight's bulletin, calls have been made for full and equal participation of females in climate change issues. Fijian peacekeepers will remain with the multinational and observer force, and body of man found in Lautoka burnt beyond recognition. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. On to this week's poll question we are asking: are you happy with the new venue for the Hibiscus Festival? To answer, visit our FBC website. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
Alango Katonesia Tugotua, Awonia Saurara. Ondo wul tagi tunga na TV ni na market e tawa. Ondo tali taga na warronga na Bula FM na bandu na sia. Bula na viti na da ko plasio mataire ngone mai na bulu tabiuni au satu ko nanti ando tali tai na warrongo na Bula FM. Bula FM number 2 na seri.